if in the case of rapists, I believe in very strong punishment for the rapist. I believe that you should punish the evil man, not kill the baby.
If Republicans were to decide to Democrats and that
I'm sorry, could you repeat that question?
if Republicans were to side with Democrats today and vote for the repeal, what would your thoughts be?
I would say that they are not honoring God and upholding justice. We need to protect the weakest among us, and they need to keep this law in the books. We need to let everybody know that Arizona will no longer stand for murdering the innocent.
Your name and last name?
Tara Davis.
Tara Davis. Can you spell that for me just to make sure I get it right?
Tara Davis.
Your age and occupation?
I am 44, and I am a farmer.
And you live here in Phoenix?
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much.
Just to be clear, though, what would exactly punishment look like if a rape victim went in to try to get an abortion? And I have to ask practicality. It's premeditated murder. Should she be actually held down, forced to give birth, and then punished afterwards? I'm curious about how pro-lifers plan on enforcing it. It's very important.
Okay, can you please explain what you mean by forced to give
Well,
birth?
I mean, if I went to go hire someone to kill someone, that's premeditated murder. If a rape victim or anybody who's seeking an abortion went to go look for one, how exactly would enforcement play out? Would you actually take the woman, force her to give birth, then punish her afterwards? Would you punish her before she had an abortion?
So what we're looking at right now is whether or not it should be illegal,
Mm-hmm.
and then it would just be upheld just like any other law. So if somebody commits that abortion, then they would just go to a trial, and the jurors would decide whether they were guilty or innocent. That wouldn't be up to me. What I am most concerned about is whether or not we protect that innocent life.
Mhm.
It's not their fault their father was evil.
I suppose. Are you worried about there being an increase in the number of children who simply were not wanted?
So I want to answer that myself, actually.
Mhm.
One of my daughters was adopted.
Mhm.
In her case, her mother was not able to take care of her. She was choosing to neglect her. She was abusing her as an infant. Other people would say, well, that she should have been aborted so that she didn't have to undergo that. But my daughter, who is now 18 years old, she deserves life. She has lived a wonderful life. God provided a family for her. And the thing is, if you murder them in the womb, they're no longer given that option to have that family given to them. You don't know what God's going to do.
No, you don't.
Their life is just as valuable as anybody else's life.
Mm.
It doesn't matter how they were conceived. It doesn't matter what we think might happen. I don't know the future.
Mhm.
I could drive home today and die. I don't know. But I want to be given that chance of life. I want to give that chance of life to every child who should be safest in their mother's womb.
I see. Just last question, though. I mean, Kristi Noem, in South Dakota, Kristi Noem was in favor of a law. It got signed 2 years ago prohibiting all abortions, not unlike this ruling over here. And at the same time, Kristi Noem is quoted as saying that she does not feel like supporting children. She doesn't believe in early childhood care. So I'm wondering, for all the kids, Guttmacher says it's $21 billion a year that we spend on unplanned pregnancies. Would you be in favor of that, or do you think that the crisis pregnancy centers would be able to cover the costs?
So I believe that our churches need to stand up
Mhm.
and support women. And I believe that if we stand up and support women the way we should, I stand up and support the people that I know, and these people stand up and support the people they know, and we all stand up as a community. We stop making the government do it, that we will support these women and they will be taken care of, and God will honor that. I'm not going to wait for the Congress to enact laws to support people. I'm going to go out and do it myself.
I see. And you've adopted too, so I mean, you put your money.
I'm adopted.
you
I'm
have-
certified to adopt more. I love children, and I help them every chance I get.
Well, you know, I pay respect for that, because a lot of, and I hate to say it, there's a lot of pro-lifers who don't do anything at all whatsoever, and yet they feel really like rape victims should be punished. And it's like, well, wait a second here. If you care very much about a 2-month-old fetus, at least do something else to children who are already here.
Well, and
That's why I
don't-
think there's a lot of negative press for people. You know what I mean? There's a lot of
Yeah.
hypocrisy.
Well, I don't believe it's punishing them. Actually, many women who have gone through and carried the pregnancy to term, whether they kept their child or went ahead and gave that for adoption, they find healing in that. I mean, honestly, when you murder a baby, and if you believe it is a baby from conception, like I do, because there's other thing. You have your own individual DNA, your own individual body. This is your own individual that, if left to its own devices, if it was natural, this child would grow to be just like you.
Mhm.
If you believe that, then you're murdering them. Well, you can't heal from that. Now you've not only been raped, you've been the victim of rape, but now you've been the accomplice in a murder.
I see.
And I just don't want to do that to women. You know, it's horrible, but life isn't fair. You get in a car accident, you lose your legs. That's not fair. These are horrible things that we live in because we live in a sin-cursed world, and we support and we try our best to make things as best as possible.
I dare say, I think pro-lifers will eventually get what they want. According to Shauna Swan, in about 20 years, pretty much everybody will be going to an infertility clinic. There won't be any more abortions because there won't be any more pregnancies.
Yeah.
People won't be able to get pregnant anymore. And I hate to say, along with the transgender crap that's going out there, people are just, I mean, premarital sex for young people, plummeting. People just aren't procreating at all anymore.
Right.
So I hate to say it's kind of a doomsday scenario, but it is unfolding.
Well, we're trying to raise our children to value life,
Mm.
and at all
It's tough to
stages.
do.
Yeah.
It's really tough to do
Yeah.
because life often sucks, as you just talked
Yep.
about with, you know what I mean, it very often does.
Yep.
Mm.
So we do our best to value life at all stages, whether they're preborn, because, you know, as my pastor likes to say, there's nothing special about the magical birth canal where the child comes out.
The last question though, since you're speaking in religious terms, do you believe there's eternal damnation?
Yes, I do.
You do, so and let me just ask you, you actually brought life into this world believing there's a possibility they might suffer for eternity after they die. Is that a bit of a, why would you bring life into this world if you really thought they might burn forever in hell?
Well, I believe that God rescues those he deems rescuable, and I'm not responsible for that. My God is sovereign.
Mhm.
My responsibility is to speak the truth and to proclaim what the Bible says and to teach my children that and to honor God with everything that I do.
But you have free will though.
I believe God is sovereign.
Okay. I won't hector you anymore.